Hi, my name is Victoria and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, this has been a trend over on TikTok and it's called the 10 before the end, and it's basically where you show the 10 books you want to read before the year is over, so kind of like your priority TBR. And I have made a list of the 10 books I want to read before the year is over, and I want to share those with you guys because I am so excited about all of these books and I feel like they're gonna be pretty highly rated, which I am very much looking forward to because I feel like I haven't really rated that many books above maybe 4.5 stars this year. I've been much more selective with my 5-star reads lately, and I don't know if that's a good or bad thing. But today I'm gonna show you my 10 before the end, and some of these are thick. I don't know if it's possible for me to read all of these, but I'm gonna try my best. So because I am actually the worst when it comes to summarizing a book and telling you what it's actually about and not just I loved it, I wrote a very thorough list of what these books are about, even though I haven't read like most of them, but some of them are continuations in series, so I wrote down what the first book is about so I don't spoil anything. The first book on my 10 before the end, and probably the one I am the most excited about, is Every Spiral of Fate. It's the 4th book in this Rowan Kingdom series. This is my favorite YA romantasy series. I love it so much. This has my whole heart. I got the idea to film this video after I actually started on my 10 before the end challenge, if you could call it that. So I have read almost half of it. You can see I've already been tapping a lot. The cover, she is stunning. I can't really tell you what this book specifically is about. I'm just gonna tell you what the first book is about and kind of the series in general without spoiling anything. So if I'm looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. But our female main character, her name is Alice. She is hiding in plain sight as a servant, but she is actually the heir to a long lost Jinn queendom. It is a queendom, I guess, since she's gonna be queen. And in this world, the Jinns are very much looked down upon, and she ends up meeting the prince of the kingdom she's hiding in. He basically just falls in love with her the second he sees her. He's like, there's something about this girl, I am infatuated. Because of that, she kind of changes everything he knows about the Jinns and everything. And there are so much more to this story, but I don't want to say too much because I don't want to spoil anything. But it is with Persian mythology, so we have the Jinn and we have clay, which are basically the humans. We have dragons, we have magic, we have prophecies and deals with the devil, actual deals with the devil himself. We have found family, we have searing hot romance. It is YA, but the men, they aren't. I am not kidding when I say this has the best yearning I will possibly ever find in a book. I don't think anything will ever top the yearning in this series. I love it so much. I feel like I could talk about it forever. But please, if you take any recommendation from me in your life, please let it be this series. Moving on, I don't have the physical copy, but I'm reading an arc on my Kindle. But it is the 3rd book in the Ashes of Thezmarr series. So this is the first book, which is the only physical copy I have. So that's why I'm showing you this one instead. I did start it because, like I said, I got an arc. So I think I am 20% into the book. Now I'm enjoying it so far, but I'm gonna tell you about the first book again, so I'm not spoiling anything. This book series takes place in the same world as the Legends of Thezmarr, the Blood and Steel book. That's the same universe, so this is after the war that happened in that series. Our main character, her name is Ren, and she is an assassin turned alchemist, but she is seeking vengeance for the people she lost in the war. The magic system in this series is based on magic alchemy, which I think is really cool. And there's this unknown form of alchemy that is poisoning the kingdom. So Ren, because she's a very skilled alchemist, she enrolls in Drevena, which is this ancient alchemy academy. How many times can I say alchemy? I don't know any other words for it, so you'll just have to bear with me. And she has a bodyguard assigned to her, and his name, I know I am butchering it, I can't word it, so I'm just gonna call him Torch, because that's how you would say it, how it looks. I don't know if this is considered dark romantasy, but I would classify it as dark romantasy. I feel like it's a pretty dark world. The romance is very much slow burn. Still have some heated, hot moments, but it is overall slow burn, and I really like it. It's very much he falls first. It does take her quite some time to realize her feelings for Torch. I'm really excited to see how everything plays out. We got some plot twist some stuff happening that I did not predict at all, so I'm excited for the third book. The next one we have is Broken Bonds, which is the first book in the Bonds That Tie series. This is my favorite reverse harem series. If you don't know what that is, that means it's one girl and multiple guys, and she's not gonna choose between any of them. But I have already read this series 3 times, so this is gonna be a reread, and because of that, this is kind of my lowest priority of the 10 books before the end. But it is, I love it so much. I love it so much. I don't know if I said it, but it's paranormal, so it takes place in our world, and they have very cool powers. They have something called bonds, which is basically like soulmates, and then there's one central bond who's kind of keeping everyone together. It's an our female main character. She is the central bond in her bond family. Sometimes they are romantic and sometimes they are platonic, but hers is very much romantic. Yeah. Her name is Oleander. She loses her whole family, like not the Bond family, but her mother and her dad's. And then she finds her Bond, but something happens and she needs to run away from them to protect them. And we don't know why. This book kind of starts out with them actually finding her and low-key kidnapping her, bringing her back to the compound. I don't remember if it's called like a compound, but their world within our world. I am bad at explaining, I'm so sorry. They don't know why she ran, so to them it just feels like she rejected all of them, which has big consequences for all of the bonds, and you are soulmates, so they're very mad at her. We got lots of tension from 5 book boyfriends, and no matter what type of book boyfriend you prefer, you will find at least one of them in here. There's so much tension. We have the forced proximity. We have basically, I don't know if I would say enemies to lovers, because it's not like they're actually trying to kill each other, but it's like very close because the hate is very much there. Oleander, it's her, by the way, on the book, but she is one of the strongest and baddest and most powerful female main characters I have met. I feel like I love her. The writing is also just very easy and super addictive, so I would definitely suggest giving this a go. The next book we have is Neverkeep, and again, I don't have a physical copy of the first book, so this is the second one, which is Echofort, and this is an ARC copy as well. But I'm reading the first one on my Kindle because it's on Kindle Unlimited. I'm pretty sure the first one is just as big as this one, so this is a chunky read. I started Neverkeep back in July, I think, but I was on vacation and I got sick, and then I just didn't really pick it up again. So I think I'm 40% into the first book. We have a dual POV, at least in the first book. I don't know if there's multiple POVs here, if it's the same, but in the first book we have the POV from Everest, and she is from the Water Nation, and then we have Vesper, and she is from the Air Nation, if I'm remembering correctly. So this world consists of 4 different nations, you guessed it: air, water, fire, earth, and they are all at war with each other. Like every single one of them, they're just enemy nations, all of them. But when you turn 21, you can enlist yourself into the military. I don't know if it has a specific name in this series, I don't remember. And then you go to a place called Neverkeep, and all of the nations go here, so this is kind of like the only neutral place where they're not unaliving each other left and right. But there's definitely something up with the academy. Lots of secrets, lots of lies and hidden things that are like, From the characters I've met so far, there is definitely enemies to lovers potential, maybe possibly friends to lovers. I'm not really sure. I haven't really figured out who are like actual enemies and who are enemies to lovers, you know? Fantasy, military, dark, romantasy series vibes, and I'm really intrigued. Next up we have The Fallen and The Kiss of Dusk. She is so pretty. So this is a proof copy. She's so pretty. She's also thick. You know, that's how it is being a fantasy reader. Most of the books are pretty chunky. This is the 4th book in the Crowns of Nyxia series, or the 2nd one in the, I don't know what to call it, but Misha's duology. The first 2 books in the series are the Wings, the Serpent and the Wings of Night, and the Ashes and Dust and Curse something King. So those 2 books are about Aurea and Rain, and the next duology in the series is about Misha and Asa. So I'm just gonna tell you about what the first book in this duology is about, so technically the 3rd book in the universe. But I won't spoil anything about the Wings and the Serpents of... Oh my god, the titles are so long, but you know what I mean. This is also kind of dark romantasy with vampires. Vampires. Our female main character, Misha, She is or she used to be the bride. Well, she kind of still is. She was I don't remember if they called it priestess, but she was devoted to the sun god and she became his bride. But afterwards she got turned into a vampire, which is basically the worst thing that could happen to someone who is devoted to the sun god. Misha goes after the vampire who turned her and she slays him, but that has big consequences because he is, or was, I think, a prince of one of the vampire kingdoms, kind of courts, whatever. So she is forced to go on a mission with Azar, and that's basically a mission through the underworld or hell to resurrect the god of death himself. It's about their journey through hell, and we have two very, very broken souls who kind of find solace in each other. And the slow burn, it is really slow burn, but like in the best way possible. And I just love when we have two broken souls who kind of find something in each other. I feel like that's one of my favorite micro tropes. I don't want all of my characters to be broken, but I like when we have two and they get together. It's so cute, like the broken pieces fit somehow. Next up we have Brimstone. The book isn't out yet. I think it comes out on November 18, so this is the first book, which is Quicksilver, and this is also a dark romantasy. I really like dark romantasy, I feel like. There is our female main character. She is living in this desert type of village, and water is very, very hard to come by. In this world it is illegal to have powers, but Sari, she has some, so she is very much keeping them on the down low and basically just hidden from everyone. So she is thieving and stealing from the queen's water reservoirs. I feel like that is such a hard word to say, but to keep herself and her loved ones alive. But she gets caught by the queen and sentenced to, if I remember correctly, and when she's trying to escape she accidentally opens a portal to a completely different realm, the Fae realm. And while she is trying to escape she meets Death himself, this guy, and she mistakenly binds herself to him and has to help him with his agenda in the Fae realm. There's a lot of tension, there's a lot of banter, and I really like the romance aspect as well as the fantasy world aspect. There's so much going on behind the scene, and if I remember correctly a lot of it unfolds towards the ending or like the second half. I am just really looking forward to the next book. We ended on a cliffhanger, of course, it's a fantasy book, but I have no idea what to expect for the next book. And then we have Foxglove, and as you can tell I already read 65% of it and I've just not picked it up in months. It's been a while. This is the second book in the Belladonna series, so again I'm gonna tell you about Belladonna, so I'm not spoiling anything. But this is a gothic romantasy and it is YA in case you are wondering. But in the first book, Signa, she is an orphan and she basically goes from guardian to guardian, but they all die because death is kind of haunting her, so he's basically taking everyone from her. Her only relatives left are the Hawthorns, so she goes to their estate and their daughter Blythe is sick with a mysterious illness and no one knows how or why or what's gonna happen, but it seems like she's on the brink of death. Sina, she is very tired of losing her family very understandably so. So she decides that she wants to find a cure for Blythe, and in doing so she teams up or allies herself with Death himself. Their connection grows. So Death himself is actually the love interest, which is what sold me on reading this series. When I heard it I was like, oh, I want to read a book where Death is the love interest. The second book, Foxglove, is a continuation where Sina and Blythe are the main characters. So we have POVs from both of their perspectives, and we also have a new supernatural being introduced. Belladonna is a 5-star read for me. I absolutely loved it, and I think I maybe had too high expectations for this one. It felt a little bit slower from what I've read so far, or maybe it's just because Signa is not the only main character and I was very interested in her love story, which we still follow, but now we have two stories. I know I should just finish it. There's probably like 150 pages left. I have struggled a little bit with it, which I am so sad about. Even though I am interested, I haven't found myself picking it up. But I will finish it before the year's over. And then we have Wings of Starlight, which is the only standalone on this entire list, and this is also a YA romantasy. And maybe you recognize the girl because this is about Queen Clarion from Pixie Hollow, Tinkerbell. We meet her in the Tinkerbell and the Winter Woods Court, Winter Fairy, whatever, the one she meets the Winter Fairy. But this book takes place before that movie, and it is about the star-crossed love story of Clarion and Milori. star-crossed. If you don't know what that means, basically they're not fated to end up together. We are just gonna end up with our hearts broken. This is when Clarion was a princess and not a queen. So she is a little bit rebellious in a way that she is very interested about things she should just leave alone. And there's this monster coming from winter into spring, so she wants to prove herself as the queen to be. So she teams up with Milori to save both of their people. Again, I read a little bit and then I just didn't pick it up again, and I think it's because I am scared to have my heart broken. It feels very magical, just like Tinkerbell, so I feel like the author did a great job of actually putting herself into the Tinkerbell universe, but I am scared. And then second to last we have Watch Me, and I have the most stunning copy. She is so pretty. This is a spin-off continuation of the Shadow Me series. If you haven't read Shadow Me, I would definitely recommend reading it first. I don't know if it's a must to read it, but I feel like to understand the universe and all of these characters and where they came from and their motivations, you should definitely read Shadow Me, which is also just a god tier dystopian romance, so you're not really, it's not a chore or anything, you will love it. But this takes place 10 years after Shadow Me ended and the re-establishment fell, and now our main character is James. And if you haven't read Shadow Me, James is the little brother of one of the characters from Shadow Me, and if you have read it, you know James. He is so cute. I'm a little bit scared I will get the big sister syndrome, and I don't know if that's actually a term or maybe just something I came up with, but that's basically where I can't stop picturing him as the little cute little brother child. I am afraid it will be hard for me to be like, oh, he's grown up now and he can flirt with girls, because he's just a little baby in my mind. That kind of happened when I read The Stolen Heir. I was like, no, this is wrong, he is just a child. So I really hope I won't have the same feeling when I read this one. I tried to summarize what this book is about without spoiling Shadow Me. But James, he wants to infiltrate the last re-establishment refugee. It's supposed to be unbreachable, but he gets in disguised as a prisoner. And inside the prison he meets Rosabelle, which I assume from the blurb is an assassin for the re-establishment. So she's on the bad side. So it seems like we will get another delicious enemies to lover story with lots of tension and action, and I am so excited. And I love that she's an assassin, because female assassins are always just baddies. I don't care if they're on the wrong or the right side, they're always baddies. And then lastly, Hollow, which is also an arc from the Twisted Sisters, and this one comes out on November 25th. And I saved this one for last because I actually already read it. So I have read one of my 10 books before at the end. Yeah, so you can see some of my tabs. But this is the first book in a new series, and it is also a dark romantasy. Shocker! Our main character, her name is Ferris, and we have dual POV, which I personally love. I know some people don't like dual POV. I'm like, why would you not want to hear about what's going on inside of the dude's mind? She lives in a village on the outskirts of a cursed forest called the Taking Trees, and this forest just grows more and more, and when it grows it just swallows and devours everything within its vicinity. But every 50 years the forest opens up and allows the villagers to enter inside for the Great Hunt. And inside the forest there are 13 lost spirits, and Great Hunt consists of you having to collect all of the spirits and then return them to the Great Elm. And when all of the lost spirits are returned, the curse will lift, and the champion or the winner of the Great Hunt will also receive a boon. And Ferris, she very much needs, well, first off, the curse lifted because her village is almost non-existing at this point, but she also needs the boon. And usually the people entering this competition, the champions, train most of their life to be able to survive within the forest, but Ferris, she is just an ordinary human, and she has trained a little bit during the last few years, but otherwise she's not a killer, she's not a fighter. And on the other side of the forest, some of the Fae are also entering because they also want the boon. And one of them is the most feared Fae of all time. Even the Fae fear him. He is described as a monster. They happen upon each other, and he basically forces her to work for him, kind of, in seeking out these lost spirits. And as a result we get a lovely forced proximity trope. So we have lots of banter and tension, and we have lots of flirting and reluctant allies. I don't even know if I could call it allies, because she's very much not wanting to be a part of this alliance, but they are still working together. I think I gave it 4 or 4.25 stars. I am looking forward to the next book. Okay, but these are my 10 books before the end of the year. If you like this video, don't forget to like and maybe consider subscribing. Otherwise, you can also follow me on my other social media where I talk a lot about books. But I really hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know which books are on your 10 before the end, and hopefully I will see you in my next video. Bye!